I'm gonna catch flag for this one. It's just not gonna go over that well. So I'm pretty disappointed in Chiori. Ladies and gentlemen, you degenerate Genshin Impact gamers out there. Chiori is someone that I would absolutely love to have on my team. She's got dual wield, little swords, a little ninja. She's Geo. We have a lot of Geo characters on this account. C6 Albedo, C6 Yunjin, C6 Goro, C6 Noelle. We have Arataki Ito, Zhongli. And I was really looking forward to Chiori when they showed her off a little bit with her designs and details. And I think she's gonna be a cool character. Now, this isn't really me being disappointed in calling her bad. I don't think she's gonna be a bad character, okay? I don't know how good she's gonna be. There's gonna be teams out there that you can utilize her with. But just the way that she's designed, man, she is just so boring. And honestly, if you take a look at her kit, not only is she kind of boring to play with, but I think she's got just, I don't know why she's got hybrid mods. Why are they half attack, half defense? This just seems to me like a worse way to design an Arataki Ito or Noelle type character. Like, why split the damage half attack, half defense when we can just have a defense to attack sort of skill? We already have access to a character that wants both attack and defense, or can technically scale off both. That's Noelle and Arataki Ito. But they actually get bonuses for stacking a bunch of defense and turning 100% of their defense into attack. Chiori doesn't do that. She wants you to have attack percent as well as defense percent. And I just don't really get it. Now, there's also some other things that I don't understand with this character as well. We've seen so many problems with Geo constructs and Mihoyo's unwillingness to make them, I don't know, usable in the game, possibly. I'm so tired of trying to use my C6 Albedo, putting my flower down, and then the smallest pinky toe of any monster in the game touching it and blowing it up into a million pieces. But now we have a character in Chiori that wants to have extra Geo constructs on the battlefield so she can get a damage bonus for herself, which is like, I guess. It just seems a little weird to me that we're gonna institute a character that is going to utilize an inherently broken mechanic inside of Genshin Impact. I don't really like that. I think that's kind of dumb. And it is cool that she can have like the flexibility to choose to either, you know, do some off-field damage or more off-field damage with the two different modes she can have, or also give herself Geo Infusion to be an on-field sort of DPS character. Although it seems a little bit ruined because, well, you only get like 5 seconds of Geo Infusion anyway. So like at Constellation 0, you basically have a side grade to Albedo. And listen, I love Geo characters. I love Albedo. Mine's Constellation 6, but like we've talked about on this channel before, I don't use him because he's so inherently broken with so many different things with Geo constructs. We literally just talked about that. They should be working together pretty well. Two off-field damage dealers where Albedo's gonna buff up her damage as well because he creates a Geo construct. And as far as Albedo side grades goes, if you don't know anything about the new Chiori character at all, you haven't listened to the Dream video, let me know if this sounds a little familiar to you, okay? So sword character, elemental skill creates an off-field sort of damage, like a Geo construct of sorts, or in Chiori's case, a little doll that will pulse damage around. It's Chiori's case based off of her attack as well as her defense, whereas with Albedo, it's based entirely off of his defense. Elemental Burst is just straight up low energy cost, fairly low cooldown, does some Geo damage. That's basically Albedo. The only thing that Chiori can do is that she can choose to infuse herself with elemental Geo for like 5 seconds, something Albedo can't do. However, you're not really gonna have an entire team focused around 5 seconds of Geo infusion tied to like a 16-second cooldown. Okay, that's awful. That's terrible. I'd rather just have extra AoE off-field Geo damage. And so I guess I'm kind of disappointed in multitudes of ways here, and I could be a little bit biased myself because I already have the Albedo. I already have the side grade to Chiori, or a side grade of Chiori for Albedo. I already have the Albedo character. So maybe I'm a little bit biased there, but I'm just kind of disappointed in the fact that here we go again. Navi kind of shook stuff up with Geo a little bit. They showed a way to design a Geo character that can be played with non-Geo element characters with the crystallization reaction, even though they kind of ham-fisted it in there where you just kind of pick up the crystallization reaction crystals as ammo for Navia. At least it was something slightly new. But with Chiori coming back out, we're just going right back into what Geo does. Geo does off-field geo damage, a little bit of geo damage with the elemental burst, and they kind of pair well with other geo characters, whether you're getting geo infusion and using her really quickly with someone like Yunjin in your team, or you're using her as an off-field DPS support for another geo character to create crystallization reactions, which you could do with Albedo already. There's not really a whole lot of cool new mechanics and gameplay with this character at all, and it's because Geo just doesn't have a way to interact very much with any of the elements in Genshin Impact. You think that maybe they try to fix that, but nope. The fix for this character of Chiori is that she's going to work really well with Geo Constructs. Geo Constructs get blown up by everything, not just the Albedo flower. The only Geo Construct that kind of really lives and stands the test of time and is used is the Zhongli pillar. But unless you're like Constellation, 1 or 2, where you can create 2 pillars with Zhongli, you've used Zhongli before. You don't really use the press version, you use the hold version to get your shield back. Well, if you use your hold version on Zhongli, the pillar goes up, it stays there for a long time. If you use the hold version again, you don't move the pillar with Zhongli. In order to move the pillar either has to disappear and you use the hold version to create a new pillar, or if you have the pillar out, you already have your shield on, you have to use the press version just to erect the giant pillar again. We also have something like Ningguang's shield, which I think counts as a Geo Construct, I do believe. And then you have the Geo Traveler, which is kind of whatever. I also think that there is a small cap on how many Geo Constructs you can indeed have. I want to say that like the Traveler ult counts as a Geo Construct and supersedes, I think it's like the 3 item cap for the amount of Geo Constructs you can have active at any time. But honestly, listen, I'm not here to dog on the Geo Traveler, but we're not going to rate a brand new character coming out in 2024 about how well they work with the Geo Traveler. The Geo Traveler's not out there making waves in Genshin Impact and doing super cool things. You're kind of trying to ham fist making Geo Constructs with the rocks because you need some Geo Constructs that don't inherently just blow up like the Albedo flower or Ningguang's wall because they scale off of health on defense or attack scaling characters, which makes no sense whatsoever, but I digress. So you might say, what's the point of this video, Josh? Why are you just complaining? Are you complaining to complain? I'm not really complaining to complain. I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just a little upset. I was hoping for something new for a character that I'm aesthetically really interested in. I want to be able to use this character and have fun with them in Genshin, and I just don't see the need to. I don't really have the want to. The kit just isn't there. It seems boring and dull and just a little too hard to gear for no reason with the attack and defense scaling. The hybrid scalings just are bad. I just don't understand it, especially when we already have something that's better than attack and defense hybrid scaling. We already have the ability for characters. We've talked about it. Noelle and Arataki Ito. For you just build them a bunch of defense and they turn their defense into attack, and their attacks are technically only attack scaling. They're not truly hybrid characters. That's much better than you needing to get 50% attack and 50% defense. It's much easier to just get 100% defense and then have a skill that transforms your 100% defense buff into like 135% attack or something. It's super easy to build a character that way as far as artifact collection goes. So what I'm really left with when I look at Chiori now is just a very dull, boring character that doesn't add anything new, that inherently wants some flawed gameplay designs in my team with Geo Constructs, that also looks like it's going to be even more tricky to build than your average Geo DPS character. You're gonna need not just attack or not just defense, you're gonna need them both, and you're gonna need Geo damage, and you're gonna wanna have crit chance, you wanna have crit damage. What are we doing here? Why am I going through all of this just to have maybe a slight upgrade to Albedo on my team? It just doesn't seem worth it to me. So drop your thoughts about Chiori down there, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.